Hi there, my name is Steve Gerhardt and this is the Unagi Observer. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this week's video. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving wherever you are and whatever you had to eat. I'm sure it was wonderful. Again, I hope you had a good one. This week, thank you again for stopping by and watching. This week we're going to do another anime review, and this one is going to be, of course, of a anime that was back in the day a little bit, in the late 90s, and it is called Sakura Wars. So, back in 1996, this video game came out on Sega. It would later be released on multiple different platforms, and become a video game franchise as well as an anime franchise. And it was called Sakura Wars. Now, the interesting thing about the game itself is that it did cross genres in terms of types of games. So part of this was like a mecha combat, part of it was a visual novel, and part of this was kind of like a dating sim of sorts. So basically the video game is you're a guy in charge of this combat unit full of pretty young ladies who pilot these steampunk kind of mecha units, and in Taisho era Japan. So there you go. You get the idea of the video game, and it was very, very popular. And when video games tend to be popular, they sort of create other mediums. So in this case, Sakura Wars in 1997 released a 4-part OVA anime to go along with the game, and the whole point of making the anime was to basically flesh out the characters within the game. So you had the cute young warrior ladies in the steampunk mecha. You get their backstories, and you also get a little bit of the backstory of the male character, whom you are the one playing, I think, for most of the game. I haven't played the game myself, but from what I understand, you play the guy who's in charge of the Sakura units. So there you go. So that's the reason why the anime even exists. It's basically just to give you more enhancement of the game, since the game itself is pretty well detailed. Like I said, it would go on to create another franchise. I think there was a soft reboot of the game just this past year. So this is something that has been going on for a while, and it appears that with each release of a new game for Sakura Wars, there is a new anime, usually a 1 or 2 part OVA or something like that, or a special. There is a 25 episode series, which I have not watched, and we're focusing on the very first OVA, of which there are only 4 episodes. And that one is called Sakura Wars Taisen Oka Kenran, or in English, Sakura Wars The Gorgeous Blooming Cherry Blossoms. So how did I come across this anime? Well, again, it was when we had the unfortunate OnCon event where we couldn't do OnCon. So we watched a whole bunch of anime, and one of the anime we happened to watch was Sakura Wars. We've never seen it, we have heard of it, and it's one of those things where once you see the character designs, you're gonna be like, yeah, they look familiar. They're all over the place. So anyway, so we finally had to see the OVA. And like I said, it's basically the backstories and how the unit of women came together. Now this, I would call Taisho, this kind of anime, has a very niche genre, which I call Taisho steampunk. A lot of Taisho era shonen or action-y kind of anime set in the Taisho era tend to be steampunk, and this is no different. Sakura Wars is no different. And the idea behind Sakura Wars is that in Tokyo, there's this like secret war happening with these demon forces who also combine demons with mecha and things like that. And so Japan, the government creates this brigade in the help of this one kind of like scientist dude, because there's always the scientist dude, who makes the Sakura units, who makes all the tech behind the steampunk tech. There's a train, there are trucks, there's a huge blimp, which I love the design of the blimp, and a couple other vehicles that are to be used in support of the Sakura units, mecha units. And it's kind of like Pat Labor, if you're familiar with Pat Labor, where they actually lay the mecha down on the flatbed of a truck, and they move it around, and then they bring it up and blah blah blah. Same idea. So you have this bevy of cute warrior girls. You have the leader type, of course, the serious leader type. You have the brawny one, hot-headed. You have the really cute little girl, who's just like will turn into a murder machine when you need her to. And you have, of course, the uppity Princess Ayeka type, who is actually the daughter of the scientist who's made all this stuff. And, of course, you have the heroine of the story, who is basically what's known as a princess or a woman samurai. So the unit's called the Sakura Brigade, and they are tasked to fight this secret war. The reason why they have to get these girls is because, for the most part, only women can pilot the Sakura units, with an exception, and I'll get to that in a moment. And so these 4 girls, it turns out that because of certain characteristics of a woman, of a young lady, whatever, they are able to turn on, pilot, and power the Sakura units, the steampunk Sakura units. And so the first couple of episodes is basically getting the team together, right? They're getting this person from here, from there, and all this stuff, and they're coming to Tokyo. And in the backstory is this one kid who's on a ship who's mopping the deck, and he's supposed to be the last person in the Sakura unit. Apparently, he is one of the only guys in the world that can actually turn on that's a really bad way of putting it, Sakura unit and piloting it. So, but more on him in a little bit. So the first half is putting them together and getting you used to the idea of what these are. So they're mecha units. They have specialized weapons. The heroine has a katana made for her unit. Another one has guns for it. You get the idea. Each unit is somewhat personalized. And they train on the units, and of the 4-part OVA, there's 2 battles. One that they win, but narrowly and with comedic results, and the second one is the last battle, where they, of course, come together as the team, right? And the guy who eventually shows up becomes the actual commander of the unit, and because they need his leadership, so to speak. And so he's able to bring the team together, and one of the ways that they come together is because, since they're a secret organization, they have to do things clandestinely, so they run a theater in the background. So they're always putting up on a show and that kind of a thing, so nobody will know that they're the ones piloting the Sakura units. So anyway, they use this as team building, and the guy decides to put together a show because he wants to try and get the team together. And it works, and they have the final battle, and things come together. And the end of the 4-part OVA is basically telling you, these are the women, this is who they are, this is their more detailed personalities, their backgrounds, etc., and so forth and so on. Here's you as the guy, as their leader, have fun with the video game. There was not going to be originally more anime after that. This was really just for the first version of the video game to get more people involved with it and to get a better feel for the game, so to speak. The unfortunate thing about the OVA is that there is a plot point that was totally abandoned. The brawny type girl left the unit to avenge her father, and then she comes back. So you get nothing on that storyline. She just disappears for an episode and then she comes back. That would have been interesting, but I guess they didn't have time or money or the budget or whatever to actually complete that storyline. So maybe that was completed in a 25 episode run. I don't know. Maybe. Haven't watched it. But this OVA, this Taisho steampunk anime, is fun. I mean, that's all it's meant to be. It's not meant to be serious, there's no Evangelion hidden meaning, life is dark and pain. This is just a fun anime to watch in support of a video game. Now, does this mean that you need to know about the video game or play the video game to enjoy the anime, the OVA? No, absolutely not. You can do that. We can watch this just like I did, because I haven't never played the game, and you can enjoy it. And it's just a palate cleanser. It is not the biggest thing that ever walked the earth in terms of anime. It's not something that's going to be, I think, in anybody's top 10 list, but it's one of those things where, if you've watched you've invested yourself in a huge anime project, watching like Attack on Titan or Demon Slayer type of thing, or you've managed to actually watch so far all the episodes of One Piece, and you need a palate cleanser, this is definitely what you would be looking for. So yeah, so this I would say is a fun, easily bingeable Sunday afternoon. Get the popcorn out and sit back and just enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. It's just cute, fun. The animation is out of 90s, it's 97, but it's good, right? It's good, so it's enjoyable, and there shouldn't be any complaints about that. It's paced, other than the fact that there's a plot hole, it's pretty well paced. It's actiony. It does what it needs to do, and yeah, like I said, this is the thing that you've got nothing else to do. You want to watch an anime and not have to think too hard about it. Just get yourself a bowl of popcorn, soda, and sit down with a friend and enjoy the show. So that was Sakura Wars. Hope you are able to find it. You should be able to find it pretty easily. I think it's pretty much everywhere you can find it. I think it's on Retro Crush. There's various other platforms that it'll be on, so it's not hard to find. But yeah, get a friend, get a bowl of popcorn, and enjoy the show. So that's it for that. Let's see here. Well, next week I think I'm just going to talk about stuff. I'm just going to talk about stuff. And I don't have an anime that I've finished yet. I'm just about to finish a manga, but I don't think it's pretty heavy, so I don't feel like I'm in the mood for reviewing that one just yet. So I think next week we're just going to talk about some random stuff. So anyway, until then, you guys have a good one. And yeah, see you next time.